Yeah, they were a few months ago though, or maybe even last year. I just talked to a few different people, but they were kind of like practice ones, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, like I wanted to put these on YouTube if that's cool with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, awesome.
Unless I say something incredibly stupid.
Or I can just edit it in case you don't say anything stupid. I'll just edit it so it's like you say something like I like dicks or whatever I can think of.
What's your favorite quotes? Dicks.
Perfect.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Well, not the dicks part, but you know.
This podcast is a mess already, and we're like a minute in.
Shit. All right. Yeah. A lot of editing to do.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about guitars with you. So
yeah, sure.
I guess we'll start at the beginning. What got you into playing guitar at the very beginning?
Well, honestly, I didn't have any ambition to pick up the guitar. I've always been into music.
Mm-hmm.
I always been listening to bands, listening to old records. My father was a DJ, like way back in the day, and I just remember always listening to his records. But actually playing it is not something that came to mind. And it was towards the end of high school, and a bunch of friends of mine were starting a band, and somehow they needed a guitar player. I don't. It doesn't make sense because there's a million guitar players in the world. But yeah, they somehow needed a guitar player in the band, and I was like, sure, I'll try. And I remember I picked up this. I went on eBay and I got this really shitty guitar. Like, it was called Discovery. I don't even.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it looks like shit, you know. But I had no idea, and I remember I got the wrong kind of amp. Some asshole sold me a mini bass amp, and that amp was called Dinosaur. And yeah, I remember just like hammering away and grinding hours on that just so I'd be good enough to, I guess, keep up with my friends, and that's why I got into it. But yeah, it's just funny, like looking at now that I'm out of all those people, I'm the one who took the instrument most seriously, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that's like an important thing for a lot of young guitarists out there or people who want to start. You don't need the best equipment to get started.
Oh, definitely. I think a lot of kids today, they're just like, oh, I need the best amp, the best head model, you know, the best pickups. But honestly, if you're good, you're fucking good, and you can make that shitty, I don't want to drop names of guitars, but you know, that Squire, you can make that Squire sing, man.
Exactly. Yeah, like I first realized that in music class. I think I brought my old shitty guitar in one day, and I just assumed that it sounded bad because it was a bad guitar. But then my music teacher picked it up and played some crazy shit. I was like, oh, okay. It's just me. I'm the shitty one here.
No, it's true, man. Like, it's. I remember a friend of mine. He picked up a Squire bass, and the action was awful, and the tone was awful. But he grinded hours on that shitty Squire bass, and then, you know, it sounded good. Like, he made it sound pretty damn good. But then the day that he got like a higher model bass guitar, it was just like night and day. Like, it just sounded 10 times better. So I think that's another thing. Like, if you're practicing on a shitty instrument and you make that sound good, when you pick up like a high end instrument, it's gonna sound 10 times better.
Yeah, that's so true. Uh, yeah, so like having a shitty instrument's kind of an advantage if you look at it the right way.
Yeah, it can be. Um, One thing that I've noticed about guitar playing, I play a Gibson Les Paul right now,
Mhm.
and I've gotten pretty comfortable with that. I've been so used to it. But the neck is, I don't want to say it's like a fatter neck, but
Mhm.
it's a little bit thicker. It's on the thicker side. And sometimes when I pick up another guitar, like let's say um, an Ibanez, and that's for some reason when I'm playing that Ibanez, I'm flying way easier
Yeah.
than I am with that Gibson Les Paul. So, but I love the Les Paul. Like it's
Mhm.
just a part of me. I'm very comfortable with it. But yeah, you know what? Like as a secondary, I think one day I'm gonna pick up an Ibanez because yeah, I can fly in those guitars.
Yeah, it's weird like how you can just pick up a different guitar and then suddenly has you just feel so much better on it because like I think a few months ago I rented a Les Paul
Yeah,
and it was just the weirdest feeling. Like as soon as I played, everything was faster and cleaner, and it just felt so much better. And I don't even know exactly why. If it was the action, if it was the neck or whatever, but it just suddenly it felt like I was going like 20% faster, and I love
yeah. You
that.
know what?
Yeah.
It's a combination of that. Like some people have preference too, right? It could be that the action isn't more in your comfort zone. The neck is a lot more to your hands, liking. Everything just kind of fits better, right? So
Hmm.
everyone's different though.
Yeah, and I think it takes some experience, or at least playing for some period of time, to just get a feel of what you do like and what the difference is. Because like a lot of people, Gibson makes great guitars for sure, and but like a lot of people will, when they're starting out, gravitate towards a Gibson because they think it's gonna be the best. Just because,
Yeah.
yeah, because they see like the pros playing them, but they can't really feel the difference.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't recommend anyone who's starting guitar to just drop like 2 grand on any instrument. I mean, you
Unless you're
never
rich
know.
as fuck,
Yeah,
so just
unless
buy whatever
you're
you
rich as
want.
fuck, yeah, go ahead, just drop dollars on all that gear. But
Mm,
hey, if you're just like us guys here, then yeah, you know what? Pick up that Squire. Here I am dropping
yeah.
names again. I'm sorry, Fender. But I just when I think that's what came to mind,
That's like
Squire.
the go-to beginner guitar.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's great. I think many great guitarists started off with a Squire.
Yeah, probably. Um,
Yeah.
I personally started off with the Yamaha Pacifica, which is pretty basic. Yeah, it's just as
No,
basic.
it's great. Yeah,
Yeah, but
those
it got the job done at the beginning, though.
yeah, and I'm sure it did. You're right. Like any beginner guitar, just do it. Grind those hours. Learn those chords, scales, modes, all that shit. Learn your fretboard. There's a lot to learn. I mean, the guitar, learning about the guitar is endless.
Yeah, for sure. Like for beginner, what do you think would be the most important thing to try to focus on at the beginning?
At the beginning,
Yeah.
I would say just focus on your chords. Like learn basic open chords. Learn some open chord songs. Nothing too difficult, but eventually start working in your scales. Start with open scales. And yeah, I think that's really how I started, and a lot of people start.
Hmm.
Don't jump. I know if you're like a metalhead or you want to do all that degen shit. Like a lot of people skip the basics and they have a lot of holes in their playing. I find.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it might kind of kill your confidence if you try to go for some like technical metal song right away and you definitely don't have the skills for it. And
yeah, no, definitely. It's discouraging when you can't play something. For instance, my brother, he wanted to play guitar, and the first thing he wanted to be able to do was play a Tom Morello solo
Oh, okay.
of all fucking guitar players, Tom
Barely
Morello.
sounds like guitar a lot of the time he's playing.
Yeah. And obviously, you can't. He just couldn't do
Uh,
it, and then he dropped it. Like he was just like no, and, and what can I say? Don't jump into guitar thinking you're gonna play like Tom Morello.
yeah. Like, have you ever heard Tom Morello shred?
You know what? He is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like I know he's known for his effects and those weird noises and shit.
Mhm.
And on the technical side, maybe it's not really there. You don't hear like the speed picking and these crazy licks, but he can do that too. Like he
Yeah.
was trained by Joe Satriani, so it
Yeah.
seems like everyone, like a lot of the big names are trained by Joe
Yeah.
Satriani or have some kind of connection with him. You know what I mean?
The biggest ones I know are well, probably Kirk Hammett and
Oh, Kirk Hammett, yeah.
yeah, and I I don't know, was Steve Vai?
Steve Vai, yeah, Steve Vai. I
That's
remember,
crazy.
yeah, like I watched this interview on YouTube. And, this is important. I remember Steve Vai went for a second guitar lesson with Joe Satriani, and his homework was to learn his fretboard and just be able to like name out where the E is, or if he said B flat or A, like to point them out on the fretboard.
Hmm.
And Steve Vai couldn't do it. And as soon as he couldn't do it, like that was the beginning of the lesson. Joe Satriani said, like, get the fuck out. Yeah, he said, get the
Wow.
fuck out of here. And he was dead serious. And after that day, Steve Vai said that he went home and learned it and he worked his ass off because he didn't want to lose that connection. And he says ever since that day, he's been grinding and taking every lesson like very serious, like your life depends on it.
Wow.
And that's why Steve Vai is who he is today.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to imagine that, like Steve Vai as a beginner.
Yeah, I know. It was hard for me to picture too. I mean, it still is, but yeah, like Steve Vai, just like everyone else, was a beginner some time, some place.
Mhm. Yeah, like of all the guitarists I've seen, I think he has just like some godlike skill. Just like his technique is ridiculous, and the things that he can
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
there's just so much control. Like there are people I've seen go faster for sure. That reminds me of
Yeah.
Michelangelo Beccio.
With that double neck guitar. Oh my
Just
God.
staring into your soul as he plays
Yeah.
he's super
I'm gonna
fast.
give you the keys to the Lamborghini. I'm pretty
This
sure a lot of
guy.
people see that video, but oh my God.
But yeah, he probably goes faster than Steve, but like
Yeah, but it's not about how many notes you play sometimes.
exactly. And just like my favorite guitar solo of all time has to be Tender Surrender by Steve Vai.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
like in that
The way he plays it, I mean, that's an amazing song. I've seen it on YouTube. The one part, beautiful song, but the one part I won't forget is the ending.
the ending for sure,
Yeah.
when he licks his
He
finger.
licks his finger. Yeah, yeah.
I just try to edit that part out of my head, but like everything
Yes.
leading up to that is just amazing.
Yeah.
He does pretty much all the main electric guitar techniques that you'd want to learn, and he does them like perfectly. He's tapping, he's sweeping, he
Oh,
does pinch harmonics, touch harmonics. He's doing like crazy stuff with the whammy bar. It's just like
yeah.
everything in that one song, and it's like put together so perfectly. He's like not trying to show off that he can do all these things. He puts it together into just a beautiful song.
Yeah, like he doesn't overkill. He's like the master with that whammy bar, though.
Yeah, like there are parts where the guitar is
Tapping.
just screaming. Like when he
Yeah,
mixes it with harmonics, it's just insane.
yeah. Like I've heard people like just totally wank off with that whammy bar.
Yeah, you just shake
But,
it.
yeah, but like he's got like some good control. I love his tapping licks. His tone's great. Yeah, Great guitar player.
Yeah. So do you have any one solos that like just really, or one solo that really sticks out for you? Something that you go to when you think that's the pinnacle of guitar right there.
um, let's see, a solo that's really sticks with me. Um, Trying to think.
Yeah, you can just head over to my YouTube channel, pick something from there. Yeah.
Yeah, so LeVar Allen's solo with oh shit. Hmm. Okay, you're gonna have to edit this like pause because I'm really think I don't want to like say because something. Okay, I got one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love being fast. I love speed picking, and I'm a fan of really technical stuff.
Hmm.
But one thing I try to remember when it comes to solos is to still have that feeling and emotion,
Yeah.
and a solo that just gives me that feeling that I always just kind of gravitate back to and remind myself like how am I going to make a solo, like if I'm writing a solo, it's like how am I going to make this solo sing and be interesting at the same time, whether it's technical or not. I actually think of Pink Floyd, and
Hmm.
the solo that really speaks to me is in the song Time.
Hmm.
Yeah, Time. It has this really epic solo in there, and it's just I could listen to that all day. And yeah, it just reminds me. It's not like super technical or anything. It just the way he chooses the notes and the way he makes those notes speak to you is just amazing. And I try to remind myself of that solo
Hmm.
whenever I can, or when I'm writing something like a solo.
Yeah. That's something that that appreciation for something that's not exactly technical but just has that feel. Is that something that took you a while to develop, or were you always like that?
Definitely took me a while. When I was learning to shred
Um,
in quotes, but yeah, like it was all about speed. I didn't really give a shit about my tone. It was just,
exactly. Yeah.
like well, let's get that metronome and fucking do these licks over and over again. Um, and yeah, like that's really what was on my mind. I was listening to a lot of fast stuff like Protest the Hero, and
Mhm.
I was trying to do a lot of Iron Maiden kind of stuff at that time. And yeah, it's just I, you don't really. I think a lot of kids don't really think about that emotion side of solos right away.
Mhm.
It just kind of comes to you later. I would say maybe 6 years ago, I started thinking a bit more about just about note choices and feeling,
Mhm.
as well as making a solo interesting more so than just being fast. Like you can have fast licks here and there, but it's not about playing fast.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
the exact same way. Um,
yeah,
I remember in high school, I was just obsessed with speed. All I was listening to was, well, a lot of what I was listening to was Metallica, and I was
yeah.
just trying to learn all the solos. And I remember my go-to solo was the one from Master of Puppets.
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah,
last one is just like really fast stuff, and I'd play it all the time, and I'd use it to try to impress people. But then I'd be like looking back at it, I was playing it so sloppy. It was just garbage. The way I was playing, I was just like moving my fingers as fast as I can and like
yeah,
barely keeping up. And if you played it in slow motion, it would just sound like trash, absolute garbage. But like
yeah,
when you have enough distortion and you're playing fast, you have like enough notes in the space, you can like get away with shitty
yeah, yeah.
technique.
I
But like, yeah, it
I
definitely
agree.
it took me long time to appreciate like emotion in solos, because like
Yeah,
yeah,
I
like
mean,
Santana was the number one guy I used to hate on
yeah,
because I thought like this stuff is so easy.
yeah, yeah.
Why does everybody love him?
Yeah. No, I used to think the same way. Like, yo, that just because not many notes, they're spaced out correctly, and everything's well timed. Like, yo, that's so easy.
Yeah, that's dumb.
This is bullshit. He's not good.
Ever heard of
Yeah.
16th note triplet, bro?
Yeah,
Out
man.
of here with your eighth notes.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. It's funny how you mentioned when you turn distortion on, everything sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? Like one thing I learned and am still doing today is like when you record yourself
Mm,
and you're learning something or trying to play something, play as fast lick. You'll notice a lot of mistakes when you first
yeah.
play it and you're recording yourself. And even if it's like you've been playing for a while, still record yourself. And sometimes you might find that you're making some errors, even though you're very comfortable. And you should listen back to where those errors are, where you're making those mistakes, and really like focus and work on them without distortion.
Yeah.
Turn distortion off.
Yeah,
Like,
that's actually an amazing tip to like record yourself because like I can't think
yeah,
of the amount of times that I've thought I had a riff down. I thought I was playing it pretty well, but then I go to record it and you hear every mistake that you make, like
yeah.
everything that's
Sometimes
wrong with it.
it's embarrassing. You're like, oh my god, do I sound like that? You know, but you know what? Like, let that inspire you. Like, shit, you sound like that. Now you got to fix everything. You want to be better. You want to play that clean. Yeah, you know what? Play it on clean tone and also play it on distortion. You know, like sometimes
Mhm.
when there is distortion on, you're gonna hear a lot of noises that you want to probably,
Mhm.
dampen a bit. But at the same time, playing it clean, you're gonna still hear like every mistake as well. So do both because you got to clean up both ways.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you're playing with distortion, especially with really heavy distortion,
Yeah.
it's like an art sometimes just to keep sounds from not happening. Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of times, like let's say you're doing tapping licks, you might hit a string by accident or your pull off came off a little weird, you know.
mhm.
Um, it's a lot about control, like sweeping too. You know, like
Yeah.
your right hand technique. You don't want you don't want to let everything ring out.
You're just playing a chord.
Just like a chord. It's just you know what I mean. It's just and muting with your left hand as well.
Hmm.
Like it's a lot going on actually, and you want to make it actually become second nature. Obviously you're gonna be conscious about it, but eventually you want to just happen. You don't really need to think about it so much.
Yeah. So, is there any one guitarist that you look up to now, or or maybe not
Yeah.
just one, like just a group of guitarists that you just look to and they have like a lot of your respect, I guess.
One that comes to mind right now is actually Aaron Marshall from a band called Intervals. I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard of them. He's on tour right now, and he's actually Canadian from Toronto.
Hmm.
Really good guitar player. He has a very unique technique. I would say I'm going to say it's very modern. Like the way he plays, it's refreshing. And when I listen to intervals, I get this refreshing feeling of guitar,
Nice.
guitar playing. And I think that's why he really stands out to me when I think of now, like a guitarist that I look up to now and aspire to be as good as. I think one of his techniques that really shines to me is his hybrid picking. Like he's really damn good at that. I noticed that he doesn't speed pick a lot. Like he doesn't. He uses a lot of, I guess, hammer-ons and pull-offs in combination with his hybrid picking, and it just sounds beautiful. It's I mean, that guy can really play.
What's hybrid picking again? Is that when you use your
Yeah,
finger
so
too?
you're using your pick, but
Hmm.
you're also using your fingers,
Interesting.
notably for string skipping.
Yeah.
If there's a part where you're gonna be doing some string skipping, and it is kind of hard to just string skip, maybe like three strings sometimes.
Uh-huh.
So naturally, if you're able to use your fingers, why not pluck it, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
It does, and he's got that down really well.
Yeah, is that
Yeah,
something that you've been working on at all? Any?
a little bit.
Mm,
Funny thing is, because he's from Toronto, I was lucky enough to have a couple lessons from Aaron Marshall, and
mm-hmm.
yeah, he showed me a bit of that, and since then I've been working on it. Nowhere near perfect, but it's something that I definitely want to incorporate into my guitar playing.
Yeah, is intervals? I'm pretty sure I've seen them live once. It was a.
Yeah, right now well, they pretty much always were instrumental band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they did go with a vocalist with their previous album, A Voice Within, and they went back to instrumental with their latest album, The Shape of Color. And yeah, like Aaron Marshall, he's not signed by a label. He's completely doing things himself, but he's on tour. He has a huge fan base,
Mm-hmm.
very well known and very respected. He's sponsored by PRS, and he's been to NAM. He was at NAM this year doing his thing, showing off new models of PRS guitars. He, he showed me when I was at his place. When I was getting a lesson. He showed me a PRS model that wasn't even known to the public yet. I got to play it. I was like, holy shit! I have like thousands of dollars in my hand, and this feels amazing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's definitely a very successful musician, Aaron Marshall.
Do you have any songs that he people should check out to like get a feel of what type of guitarist he is? Like,
Yeah. You know what? Let's see. I'd probably recommend something from The Shape of Color.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Maybe like Meridian, Sure Shot. Hell, you know what? Just listen to his whole damn album. I
Yeah.
recommend listening to The Shape of Color. That's what I recommend.
Okay.
Because if you're a guitar player, you haven't heard of intervals. If you listen to The Shape of Color, you're gonna be inspired and refreshed. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I'll take your advice seriously because the last band you recommended for me was Chon,
Oh yeah,
and I fucking love those guys.
yeah. That's another refreshing band, instrumental, but yeah, it's beautiful. Um, since we're recommending bands, another one I'll recommend is Pliny. If you really like Chon, listen to Pliny. That's another one.
I think you told me about that too. How is it spelled again? I think it was something
Oh,
weird.
it's Plini.
Hmm. Okay.
And yeah, he works with, it's not just his guitar playing, it's his composition work that is pretty good. You're going to hear a lot of instruments, a lot of orchestration along with guitar playing. So yeah, it's great.
Awesome. So, what does your practice routine look like these days? Like, do you have a
Um,
fixed time or something? Or
yeah, you know what? Like right now, I've been grinding a lot of hours with my band's new EP, but my practice, like in-depth practice guitar playing per day, I'm gonna say 45 minutes to an hour. Now, that being said, that's focused guitar playing. Now, I always have a guitar. I like how many hours I have a guitar in my lap, and I'm doing other things like trying to think of licks or riffs or just kind of fucking around. I'd say maybe like 5 hours a day I'm on my guitar. But
Mhm.
of serious practice, like really focused, I would say, you know what, even half an hour to an hour is realistic. Like some days it's focus for maybe half an hour.
Hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people, like, if you're playing for a long time, doesn't mean that you're really focused and practicing.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have that metronome going off. It's you're not practicing your scales, your modes. Sometimes you're just playing stuff, and I don't really consider that like focus practice. That's just
Hmm.
like, how can I put it?
It's just kind
It's
of
just
like
playing
playing. Yeah.
guitar. Yeah, you're just playing guitar for those hours, not practicing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something that I had to work on for a long time. I just I think I personally felt this way or didn't know this, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but like there's a huge difference between playing the guitar and practicing, I think. Like
Yeah.
just playing I forgot who where I heard this, but I think somebody said playing is like going through stuff that you already know how to do, and when you're practicing, you should be focusing your energy on things that you're not necessarily good at, things that you're working on improving.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that's your practice time, and it's really easy to just kind of fall off of that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, practice is focused on improving, like you said, the things that you notice about yourself, things that you want to learn. Um, whether it's cleaning up those scales and modes that you play,
Mm-hmm.
your alternate picking, whatever it is. Yeah, focus practice.
Yeah, it's hard to like when you get to I guess a level where you can play some stuff that sounds good or like play a whole bunch of different things that sound good. It's hard to like sometimes go into a practice and just play things that sound terrible at the moment
Yeah.
and aren't they might not be fun because you have to do them super slow to get the technique right.
Yeah, but that's what you gotta do, like
Yeah.
if you're trying to play, let's say I'm gonna say like Protest the Hero. If you're trying to play one of their songs and obviously there's some really fast licks happening, you're not just gonna jump into it and be able to play it. Well, maybe someone can, but I
Hmm.
can't. And what I do is I drop the tempo like a lot, like maybe 50%, 60%. And yeah, I'll take my time working my way up to being able to play it.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some time, but if you want it clean and you want to play it properly, yeah, you got to really work on that tempo.
Yeah.
And a metronome really helps.
That's a really, really valuable tool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
sometimes
is.
I drop things like to ridiculous speeds. Like I was trying to learn some Dragon Force for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had a
And,
phase like being amazed by them too, but yeah,
uh,
yeah.
mostly just for the technique, but
Yeah.
like yeah, but like when I was learning it, I think it was like 200 beats per minute. And I dropped it all the way down to like 50 or 60 to start, just
Yeah, yeah.
crazy slow, just to go note by note and really analyze the technique. And I think that's what you have to do if you're gonna play really fast stuff eventually and play it properly. If you want to
Yeah.
have that clean technique, you need to work with a metronome. That's probably one of the most valuable tools for a guitarist if you want to go fast eventually.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I think a lot of guitar players are guilty of neglecting that, even myself, until more recently, I would say. But yeah, like in the past, I didn't bother, or I would pick it up for a little bit and then I would just kind of drop. It's like, oh, I got this lick. I'm good now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I like it. It's like a forever important tool, I would say. It's definitely useful. Just believe in it. It's a slow process, but just
mm-hmm.
believe, man. You gotta just believe in it.
Yeah, and one thing with learning riffs, like especially super fast ones, even with the metronome, it's probably good to work up to the speed that it's supposed to be played, and then even work a little faster than that speed once you have it down. Like you don't want to
Yeah,
just barely be able to play it. You want to be comfortable.
yeah, definitely. That's a good point. Like you want to be comfortable playing that at that speed, and
Hmm.
sometimes going a little faster. And if you're comfortable playing that fast, that's good. But at the same time, remember you got to be comfortable playing it slow too,
Yeah.
not just fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes I ask people to play something slow, and to show me how to do something. Like,
Hmm.
let's say I'm jamming with a friend and they can't play it slow, and it's like, oh well, shit. I guess you couldn't really play it at all.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that for sure.
Too. Sometimes like you'll be surprised. Like, I challenge guitar players is if you have this really cool riff, just try playing it slow. Maybe you can't play it and you'll be surprised. But
Yeah,
yeah, slow it down.
this is good advice.
Yeah.
So like when you're practicing these days, do you have specific things that you're working on?
Yeah, like right now, if I'm not working on writing or the new songs, uh, right now I'm actually working on some speed picking, believe it or
Hmm.
not, and some hybrid picking. So what I do is I will kind of create a lick, and I will just pick up the metronome. Sometimes, like now, I like to try to make something a little bit outside my comfort zone.
Hmm.
So it wouldn't be a scale or part of a scale that I normally would be playing, or the sequence of notes would be a little different too. And yeah, I'll pick up the metronome and I'll try to play it up to the speed that I want. And yeah, get comfortable with it. Like I think there's a time and place for all guitar players where they get in like some comfortable zone where they're playing the same licks over and over.
Hmm.
Like if they're improvising, they're always doing the same shit, and you want to like break out of that. So there's that, and there's also yeah, you know what? I'm trying to play not just like straight scales. I'm trying to skip notes and trying to do a lot of, I guess, arpeggiated intervals. A lot of not your typical kind of scales, kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and just trying to incorporate that in my brain by playing them over and over, and getting those into my comfort zone, so I can start using new licks and new sounding different.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's where my practice has been going these days. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, that's a really good philosophy to have and really good mentality because it's so easy to fall into patterns. Like especially once you have something that sounds good, just to do it over and over again. And
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's gonna be a time, like I guarantee it, you're gonna be feel, I guess plateaued almost, but maybe not even that. It's just like you're just doing the same stuff,
yeah,
over and over.
yeah, I felt that for sure. Like my huge problem was with the pentatonic scale.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just so easy,
yeah, I
like to
know for
make something
sure.
sound good. And like if for me, I just know like if I was freestyling and
Hmm.
it wasn't really working that well. I was trying different things and it like if it wasn't sounding great, then I know I just fall back on the
Yeah.
pentatonic scale because
Yeah,
it's
and that's okay to have that fallback, like that comfort zone. Like you run out of ideas and just jump back into that and make it sound cool. But you want to have a bigger comfort zone. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Yeah, whether it's pentatonic or maybe the major scale, I don't know. Whatever's your comfort zone.
What kind of
Uh,
loser solos in the major scale? Playing
yeah.
happy songs, pussy.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. Like you just gotta you gotta work your way out of that and just start learning more. Start learning and
Yeah, for
practicing.
sure. Yeah, so you said you've been writing lately, um,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure I've heard of your band before.
God damn it. Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, but yeah, how's the writing process going?
It's going really well. We have a new album coming out April 22nd.
Hmm.
You could hear our two new singles that's going to be coming off of that EP on YouTube. The first one is Collector, the second one is Manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to those two songs, you'll have a good sense of what we're going for in terms of sound. Um, it's probably different from I'd say the second album, but a little bit more similar to the first album. Uh, but still different.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's a little bit more on the technical side of things, and yeah, progressive. It's progressive. It's metal, but it's still got a lot of catchy kind of elements to it as well. But yeah, that's what we're doing now, and it's funny because right now, even though the EP is coming out on April 22nd, I'm already starting to write some stuff for an upcoming possible album afterwards. But yeah, you know what? It's good to keep writing. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
definitely good to just keep the momentum going. If you're inspired, like don't stop.
yeah, because you never know, right? Like you might come up with something really cool, and you just want to document that um, for when you need it.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some things I guess outside of just playing guitar,
Yeah.
there's also the showmanship aspects. And I remember when we were playing together,
Oh my God.
you had some story of the year type things going on
Oh
with the spin
yeah.
kicks.
Okay, so story of the year. I don't think they play anymore, but honestly, if you have a chance to see them live, you
Just
probably don't. But
yeah, I
go
saw
on
them once
YouTube.
and it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's just crazy shit, and yeah, that's inspirational to me. You know, like when I go to see a show, and I'm not just amazed by the sound, and I'm amazed by what I'm seeing. That makes me want to come back. That gives me like something worth my money, you know, and it's more exciting, you know, like
Hmm.
it's like a visual to go with the music live, and I really try to incorporate that kind of energy into my performance. Like I guess if anyone has ever seen me live, you've noticed that I've done things like spin kicks and stupid jumps, and I tend to have a lot of energy on stage, and yeah, like I love that kind of shit, you know. Maybe when I can afford another guitar, I'll start swinging my guitar
You definitely
around the
need a
song.
backup for that.
Yeah. Someday, like, I don't think I want to do that with my Gibson Les Paul quite
Yeah,
yet.
just for the one song where you're gonna do that. They're like, just bring out a Squire.
Yeah, you know,
So
get into Squire,
when
like,
people see the Squire come out, they know some crazy shit's about to
like,
happen.
oh shit, Rick busting out the Squire.
Take out the camera.
Get those camera.
Something's about to happen.
Oh shit, mid song, like,
Just for like 10 seconds, you have a
10
Squire.
seconds, like. You know that like that calm before the breakdown. It's like, it's like, oh shit, it's coming. It's switching guitars. Yeah, you know that's a good idea. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna buy
That'd be
a
so
song.
awesome.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that if I ever saw it.
I'd respect it for sure.
Yeah. How could you not? And once again, sorry, Fender. We love the Squire, man. Like for real, it's a good guitar. It's good for many reasons.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's showmanship and being live. It's important to bring it. You know, obviously, I'm not gonna be jumping around if I'm doing something like very technical and
Mhm.
requires some focus. But yeah, there'll always be those moments where you can kind of show the energy that's coming from the music that you're presenting, um, visually as well as through the sounds of your strings or vocals or drums, whatever. Yeah, there's definitely a visual aspect to it,
Yeah.
and make it real. You know, like it's got to be real. Like don't look
Mhm.
like some people. Like, you know, I see them like bobbing their heads out of sync and shit, and they just look weird. It's you know this guy's not really feeling it, but he's
Yeah,
trying to feel
yeah.
it. You know what
Yeah,
I
you see
mean?
a lot of bands, and I've seen like they just do the same moves, like just moves that they've seen, and
Yeah, I think that's basically the way to put it. It's like they're doing moves that they've seen, and
mhm.
then they're trying to do what they've seen, and and it's just it's not bad. Like it's a cool thing, but
Yeah,
like actually believe and feel what you're doing. Understand when it's appropriate to do it. You're not gonna just jump out and do a spin kick during a ballad, you know. Fuck yeah, you know. Just like fucking backflip off the fucking stage.
that reminds me of that video. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like this like it's like a wedding or something, and there's this Asian band, and they're
Okay.
playing this like ballad, but then the
Yeah.
drummer's in the background
Oh my
just
god.
going crazy and like
Yeah,
spinning
yeah,
his
I saw
sticks.
that. Yeah, he was like getting into it. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good video.
Yeah.
Yeah, be appropriate, I guess. But it's not for every band. Like if it's something like let's say like Sean, I'm
Mhm.
just gonna go there and just relax and listen to
Yeah,
some
yeah.
beautiful sounds. I don't I don't really need to see. You just you feel it. You feel it either way. And
Hmm.
bands that can do that, I really respect. Like it's just if I can go there and just appreciate the music, then sure, yeah. If you could do it, then yeah, it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
The music's always number one.
Yeah, it
And
really is. Like, don't go out there fucking practicing your spin kicks and guitar flips and not learn how to play your fucking instrument. Please
yeah.
don't do that. That stuff comes later.
Yeah, for sure. That's like bonus points on top of
Yeah,
the basics that you have to get
yeah,
down first.
yeah.
So like what are some of the challenges that you face with like working with a bunch of different people in a band?
Oh man, there's a lot of challenges, and throughout my years of being in bands and being in this one, Redheaded Denial, it's a lot like working with a family. Like a lot of we're like a family. It's like having a job and having the same coworkers, the same team. You learn a lot of things about these people, like throughout the years, throughout time,
Hmm.
and you got to learn to accept those things too. Um, and you got to be able to communicate. It's not easy. Not everyone can do it. You got to put your egos aside, and just kind of accept people for who they are,
Yeah.
and kind of just work with them. Obviously, um, not everyone's gonna mesh, and that's when bands don't work out, when they really just don't click, and that's when members leave, members join, and yeah, you just gotta find that team that really works for you, and then when you find that team, just you gotta just communicate. Like communication's a big thing, and put your egos aside. That's really all I could really say about being in a band.
Yeah.
Working with these people, like it's like a family, and it's about respect, and it's about communication, and yeah, like it's like a relationship, man.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird, but that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, like everything you're saying really applies to relationships. So like for people who haven't been in bands but have been in relationships, yeah,
Yeah, this is
it
what the talk's about, man. Good advice. So you got problems, man, just think about a band. Think about your band. If you're in a relationship and you're having a problem with your girl, or your man, whatever's your thing, just think about your band. How do you communicate with your band? Well, actually, you don't want to communicate entirely with your significant other the way you communicate with your band. That could go wrong. But you know what I mean.
Sorry, I had mic issues for a second.
That's cool.
but yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, I was part of the band for a while. but
Yeah, man.
but yeah,
It's
like looking back on it, I definitely had too much of an ego to be an effective member of the band.
and I well, like it was about communication, and like I know, like me and you, we kind of started the thing, and it kind of evolved and grew, and like I guess it just people change, and like it comes back to what we just talked about. It was about like communication and
Yeah,
understanding, and when that falls, just bad things can happen, or maybe it's even for the better. Like um, it just can go either way, really.
yeah, man,
But
for sure.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's about that communication, and
that's probably one of the most important things for sure.
not for sure. Like I would say, yeah, like you just really got to put egos aside and just communicate. That's all it really is. And sometimes when you communicate, you never know. Maybe you might realize at some point that the band is not for you, or the music is not for you. Change is relevant. People change, relationships end.
Hmm.
It could happen. So keep communicating. Make sure it's something that is right for you. Don't be lying to yourself. Just do it because you genuinely love it and you love the people you're working with. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So, what's your favorite part of being in the band right now? Like, what do you look
um,
forward to the most?
I used to look forward to band practice. I mean, I still do. But that's not like my favorite thing. I would say it's just my favorite thing about being in the band is just creating, the collaborative effort that we have. It's not just like one person doing everything. We all have like different roles, and sometimes those roles intertwine. People come up with ideas, and just watching a song grow is probably the coolest thing to me. Like, let's say Alexi comes up with something, or I come up with something, guitar wise, and then we present it, and it just grows from there. Like it's a basic idea, maybe it's even a solid idea, but it's still going to grow with someone throwing something new at the table.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just evolves, and that's like the coolest thing to see, and that comes with being in a band, having a collaborative effort to create something.
hmm. And I guess just keeping the relationship metaphor going.
Yeah.
It's kind of like raising a kid. Not that I have an experience with it, so I'm just talking shit. But
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like you got, it's beautiful. Just seeing your child grow,
mhm.
working together to. Um, I don't want to force influences on people, but forcing influences on the children.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is kind of like that. It's your baby, and you just watch it grow.
Mm.
Um, by everyone just kind of putting in their love.
Yeah.
That's sounds hilarious. But, that's what it is. Like that's how I see it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think that's enough for now. Like, I took up
Yeah,
enough of your time, but like, I really appreciate you doing this, man.
yeah, no worries. It was fun. It was good talking to you again, and
Yeah.
yeah, we'll keep in touch. Um, yeah, just yeah. Maybe we'll jam sometime. That would be fun.
Yeah. It would be cool to work on that song we were working on a while ago that just died.
Yeah, man. What happened with that? I don't
Uh,
know, but yeah, we'll get together and we'll work on that sometime. I think it's probably better if we meet in person rather than just throwing tabs and shit at each other.
Yeah, that
All
might
right,
help
cool,
out.
man.
But yeah, so are there any links that you'd want people to check out?
Yeah, just go to our YouTube channel. Just go to RHD
Mm-hmm.
and you will find all types of Red-Handed Denial related stuff. You'll see some guitar playthroughs with me and Alexi playing, and yeah, lots of cool musical stuff that you can get into. So yeah,
And
RHD
on YouTube, yeah.
on YouTube. Yes.
Okay, and one more thing. If there was one video or song that you'd want people to check out to get an idea of what you do, what would it be?
Get an idea of what I do,
Like, just to get a feel for your guitar playing. I know it's hard to just get it in one song, but like, what would you want people to check out first?
Okay. You know what? It's probably going to be on my my band's YouTube channel. I'm going to say look at right now, I would say go to the song Collector
Mm-hmm.
and you will see a lot of what is expected from my guitar playing in the future. So
Right.
yeah, go to RHD on YouTube, look up the song Collector. It was our first single off this new EP coming out. So yeah, definitely check it out.
All right, cool, man. I'll check that out for sure. And good luck with the upcoming EP.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. And good luck with your podcast and all the musical stuff you're doing. I still, see a lot of the stuff you're putting up, and it's always amazing.
Thanks, man. And yeah, we have to work on something together soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Cool.
All right, nice talking to you, dude.
Yeah, nice talking to you, man.
All right, later.